Okay, so I'm going into the game. You'll get this view here, a 2D map of the Gateball court, a timer and scoreboard, a three-dimensional sort of perspective view of the game. This little window here is going to be a shot log, which tells us what's happened to each shot, and we've got a couple of little controls here as well. Now, what you're going to do on every single shot is you're going to basically play a ball towards this target. On the two-dimensional view, you can choose whether to have the aim line on or off. The reason why you toggle that is that sometimes you might want to use this two-dimensional view just to record a position. So you might be wanting to discuss a tactical option with your coach, and you've got the balls on this 2D view, you're discussing your shot options, you don't want the aim line there. But when you're playing through a series of shots, you probably do want the aim line. So let's actually position this shot. So it's going to go through gate number 1, and we play the shot by pressing the stroke button, and through it goes. So we can see R1 strokes, R1 has entered gate 1, R1 has exited gate 1, and the balls will stop moving. Now once the balls have stopped moving, then you can play another shot. So we're going to score that gate for player number 1. And now let's play this shot as if we want to go for gate number 2. Now again, that looks as if it's going to go through. We can actually take the camera over there to see in a bit more detail if that looks like a good shot. We can view that from the perspective of the striker ball. So there we're looking down the line from the stroker towards the target. So that's a nice shot. And the other place that we can go is we can actually look over the hoop itself. If we go top, then it means that we're going to be looking down onto wherever the camera is placed. For the time being, though, let's go back to just looking around. Most of the time you don't need to use the 3D view anyway, because the 2D view is more than enough. Let's play the shot. Oh dear, that was a bit of a miss. So that's the end of the turn. Now we should have probably had the clock, the stopwatch on. You can imagine that if I did click up there, it would start counting down. Similarly, we can make it so that the stopwatch here for the shot clock is switched on and off as well. So basically that's it. You're just going to select balls using this menu up here, just clicking on the circle next to the name of the ball. Then you're going to play the shot by hitting stroke, and you're going to make some decisions about what the outcome of that shot was. Now, of course, one outcome of a shot is that you might get a touch. So let's play this shot, and there we go, we've got a hit. The W2 has hit red 1, so we're entitled to take a spark. Entitled to take a touch, which means that we're playing a spark. So having clicked on touch R1, now the stroke button has been replaced by a spark button, and as we move the target around, you can see the number 1 ball is basically attached to the number 2. Let's go and have a look at that in a bit more detail by taking the camera over there. So you can see that the number 1 is attached to the number 2, and as I move the target around, the angle of the spark changes. So let's spark the number 1 against the center peg, and it hits the pole, but obviously that's not a peg out. Number 1 has not made all of the hoops it needs to make. So what else do we need to see? Well, I can explain in another video what the significance of this match ID is here. Another key thing is the quality of the players. So at the moment, each player is pretty good. They are able to shoot within a degree of where they're shooting at. Most people, well, it's difficult to say. There's good players and bad players. But just to put it into perspective, an aim error of 1% is like in croquet of having a critical distance of 14 yards, so it's pretty good. And this distance error here obviously comes out as centimeters per meter. So if you can hit a ball to within 5 centimeters, 5 meters away, then you're doing pretty well. So that's a pretty accurate distance error. Okay, what else do we need to show? Not much else. These scores here will increment when you press on them, and if you press the shift key down, then they'll decrease as well. If you press the shift key down when you're clicking on one of the balls, then that will actually take the ball off the lawn. So that's a way of pegging something out. If a ball is off the lawn, so if we hit the number, let's select number 1 and hit it off the lawn, then the little log here will say R1 is crossed line 1. Do you want to put it out? And if you do, then it will be placed 10 centimeters in from the line and it will go grey to show that it's an out ball. So it's pretty easy to keep tabs on which are the out balls and which are the in balls, even when they're right up close to each other at the boundary. So we could very easily see that 2 is an in ball and 1 is an out ball. You can make the game time anything you like. You can make the shot clock anything you like. It's actually quite good to have a slightly longer shot clock while you're learning the controls. And I will explain the match ID thing here now. Basically, when you create a session, you're actually making a connection to the database, which is recording every single shot. So you can actually go back and go to a position from any previous game. So, for example, if I wanted to go back to the position before red 1 took its second shot, if I click reset, then that will now take us back to that position where the red had just gone through the hoop and was attempting to make this hoop here. So we could actually go on a different line of play. Okay, well, I hope you have a go, and the instructions for this, there's a Google Docs page which I'll put in the blurb, and that'll be the updated version of that.